What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to Cowboys News TV. I'm Dave, and today we have some breaking news that could have massive implications for the Dallas Cowboys moving forward. The NFL trade deadline is less than a month away, and with injuries piling up, it's time for the Cowboys front office to make some moves, particularly at the wide receiver position. Brandon Cooks, one of the key veterans brought in to complement CeeDee Lamb, is out for Sunday's game against the Steelers and could be sidelined even longer due to an infection in his knee after a recent procedure. We're going to break down what this means for the Cowboys, why they need to look at adding another wide receiver ASAP, and who could potentially be on their radar. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell to stay up to date on all things Cowboys. We're inching closer to 12,000 subscribers, and your support means the world to us. Let's hit that milestone together. Alright, let's get into it. First, let's talk about the Brandon Cooks situation. Cooks has been battling injuries all season and has only managed 9 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown through the first 4 games. While those numbers aren't impressive, Cooks has played the most snaps among Cowboys receivers not named CeeDee Lamb, and he still holds value as a deep threat and experienced target for Dak Prescott. Unfortunately, Cooks is now dealing with an infection in his knee, and according to ESPN's Todd Archer, he'll miss Sunday's game against the Steelers, with no clear timetable for his return. This injury couldn't have come at a worse time. The Cowboys are already thin at receiver, with young, unproven talents like Jalen Tolbert and rookie Ryan Flournoy now being thrust into bigger roles. And while Tolbert has shown flashes, much of his production came in garbage time against the Saints. As for Flournoy, he's been a healthy scratch in every game so far, so it's hard to know what he can bring to the table. The Cowboys also have Cavante Turpin, but expecting him to carry the load in a pass-catching role seems unrealistic. So, Cowboys fans, the big question is, should Dallas trade for a wide receiver before the deadline? With Cooks potentially missing multiple games, Dak Prescott is going to need more help than ever, especially considering the offense has struggled to find its rhythm. Let us know what you think in the comments. Who should the Cowboys target? And do you believe Jerry and Stephen Jones will make a move, or will they stick with their usual "we like our guys" approach? Speaking of potential targets, the Cowboys were recently linked to Raiders star wide receiver Davante Adams. Earlier this week, reports surfaced that Dallas was one of several teams to check in on Adams. Now, while that got Cowboys fans buzzing with excitement, it didn't take long for insiders to refute the claim. According to sources, the Cowboys aren't seriously pursuing Adams, citing the cost of draft capital and salary concerns, especially with upcoming extensions for key players like Micah Parsons. It looks like Adams is likely heading elsewhere, with the New York Jets and New Orleans Saints reportedly at the top of his wish list. But here's the thing, just because Adams is off the table doesn't mean the Cowboys shouldn't be looking at other wide receivers. The front office needs to pivot and find a realistic option to help Dak Prescott keep this offense afloat. Without a running game to take the pressure off, and with Cooks out, it's simply too much to ask Dak to carry this team while throwing to CeeDee Lamb and a bunch of unproven receivers. This is the exact kind of franchise malpractice that could turn a promising season into a disaster. Let's take a look at a few potential trade targets. One name that's been floated around is Marquise Hollywood Brown from the Arizona Cardinals. Brown has speed, experience, and the ability to stretch the field, qualities that the Cowboys desperately need right now. Another option could be Jerry Jeudy from the Denver Broncos. Judy's combination of route running and big play potential could be a great fit in Dallas offense, and the Broncos might be willing to deal him as they continue their rebuild. Cowboys Nation, what do you think? Should the front office go after someone like Hollywood Brown or Jerry Jeudy? Or do you have someone else in mind? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing your trade ideas. Now, I know the Cowboys front office is often reluctant to make in-season trades, but this is a situation where they can't afford to sit on their hands. Dak Prescott is already in a tough position with the injuries on defense, no consistent running game, and an unimaginative offensive scheme. Expecting him to perform miracles with limited weapons is not a recipe for success, especially with tough games against the Steelers, 49ers, and Eagles coming up in the next few weeks. If the Cowboys want to remain competitive and stay in the playoff race, they need to be proactive. And don't forget, Cowboys fans, subscribing to the channel is the best way to stay up to date with everything happening as the trade deadline approaches. We've got all the latest rumors, analysis, and news coming your way. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. To wrap things up, Brandon Cook's injury is a serious blow to the Cowboys' already struggling offense, and the front office has to make a move before it's too late. Whether they pursue a big name like Davante Adams or pivot to a more realistic trade candidate, they can't rely solely on the current roster to carry them through this stretch of the season. Dak Prescott deserves better, and so do Cowboys fans. Let's hope Jerry Jones realizes that before it's too late.
Now, let's pivot and talk about why this trade deadline is so crucial for Dallas. We all know the Cowboys have big aspirations this season, especially with Dak Prescott entering what feels like a pivotal year in his career. The front office made a commitment to Dak when they gave him that big contract, and he's shown that he can be a top-tier quarterback. But even the best quarterbacks need weapons around them. Without Brandon Cooks, this offense is going to struggle to find balance. It's already been a challenge with a running game that has been inconsistent at best. Tony Pollard hasn't been able to dominate as many expected, largely due to the Cowboys' offensive line injuries and lack of run-blocking consistency. If the passing game becomes too one-dimensional, defenses will easily key in on CeeDee Lamb, and the offense will sputter. We saw this exact scenario unfold during the Cowboys' loss to the Baltimore Ravens in Week 3. The offense couldn't get rolling, and while the defense did their best to keep the game within reach, it wasn't enough. This team cannot afford another slide like that, especially with the Steelers, 49ers, and Eagles coming up. So, what's holding the Cowboys back from pulling the trigger on a trade? Let's talk about the excuses we've been hearing. The most common line from Jerry and Stephen Jones has been the old, "we like our guys" mantra. It's something Cowboys fans have grown accustomed to hearing over the years, but it's time to realize that sometimes, the guys you have simply aren't enough. The Cowboys have some promising young players, like Jalen Tolbert, but this season is about winning now. Tolbert may develop into a solid receiver down the line, but relying on him as a WR2 when the team is battling for playoff positioning seems like a stretch. Another reason we've heard for the Cowboys' hesitation to make moves is cap space and future contracts. Yes, the Cowboys are going to need to lock up some big names in the near future, none bigger than Micah Parsons. But the reality is, Dallas has the cap flexibility to make a deal work if they really want to. Just look at how the Cleveland Browns restructured Amari Cooper's contract to make him more affordable for a potential trade. The salary cap is flexible, and if the Cowboys want to add a game-changing piece, they can find a way to make it work. The bottom line is this: the Cowboys cannot let this season slip away because of inaction. Dak Prescott is playing at a high level, but he can only do so much on his own. If Jerry Jones is serious about winning a Super Bowl in the near future, then this is the time to act. The trade deadline is an opportunity for the Cowboys to right the ship, and ignoring that would be a huge mistake. So, Cowboys Nation, what's your take on all this? Should the Cowboys be more aggressive at the trade deadline? Should they pursue a wide receiver like Sutton, Renfrow, or Boyd? Or do you think they should stand pat and hope that the current roster can turn things around? Let's get the conversation going in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Cowboys News TV for all the latest updates and insights. We've got some big games ahead, and we'll be here breaking it all down with you. Thanks for watching, and until next time, go Cowboys!